Hi darlings, this is just a little catch-up video. We are now fully in that passage of the 369, 3rd of June 36, and today we are the 46 chromosomes when I am 64, and we really are living it. We've got on the French newspapers today, Ukraine humiliated by Putin and Russia. So they are showing us this new cross which is being made as we leave the mutable cross ruled by Jupiter and Mercury, and now we are coming up to having Jupiter and Mercury on the wand of Merlin, and we have got Venus just today leaving the V for victory, the pearl at the harbour. This is Venus coming out of her shell, coming out of the sea to take over her new role as Jupiter and Mercury are about to be conjunct on your brainstem. Your medulla oblongata, so you may meet the Madeleine, you may meet Venus herself, and Venus is hidden under the horizon for 50 days. That's why we just had the football match since I last spoke to you. On the 31st, Paris Saint-Germain against Milan, and they won Hawaii 5-0. Pearl Harbor happened in Hawaii. This is the hidden hand of Fatima that we saw hitting the pimp Macron, coming out as we see in the life of Brian, the head, the brain, and this is bringing up that energy from Gaza. We've got Giza and Gaza, so the true new spring lamb is Aquarius, is Gaza, is Giza, the pyramid of Giza, and we have got now this Venus, this hidden hand, the energy of Venus as she's being merged with Jupiter, Jack and Rose. So the brainstem, when you light it up, when it becomes that flower, that rose, that is Venus. So we've got the sun right on the bullseye. And of course, it is Angelina Jolie's birthday today. I was just opening up my astrology and they had a big, it's Angelina Jolie's today. So of course, she is born when the sun is right on Aldebaran. So Mercury is on his way tomorrow, 6-6. We're going to have Jupiter, Mercury and the sun right there. So this is really a passage. This is really a rite of passage as Mercury, Jupiter and the sun are in the home of Taurus, Venus, and Uranus is under the 7 sisters, exactly as Uranus was in 1941 for Pearl Harbor. 1941, 12 and the 7th. So there's Uranus, exactly where Uranus is now, and we had Saturn and Jupiter as well, and we had Mars coming into the V for victory, into the harbour. And where did we have the moon? The moon was at home. Well, it was just moving between, but it happened. Pearl Harbor happened very early in the morning. So I've got it in France now, but I have actually just pulled up this is Pearl Harbor. So we had moon in Cancer. We had Mercury and Sun in Scorpio, ruled by Mars, and Mars was in the V for victory in Pisces. And we had this big trine on the feminine, on the water, the pearl, the harbour. So they had moon next to Pluto, conjunct Pluto then, and Uranus right on the Pleiades, and Saturn on Algol, and Jupiter right where Jupiter is now, about to go on the wand of Merlin, just as for 9/11, just as for the Madrid fault lines, and also for the and also coming up right now we've got Jupiter. So for 9/11, the Madrid fault lines, for Pearl Harbor, and for 9/11 we had Saturn here So if you're feeling sensitive right now, this is just the level of what we're living. So just a few pictures to show you. So Pearl Harbor, pH, acid alkaline. 7 is the mid-perfect pH harmony between the 14 pieces of Osiris. Venus comes out of the oyster, pearl, shell. So the Jacques Compostelle, you have the shell of Venus. This is the L. She sells seashells on the seashore. Shore is just another anagram for horse. Venus comes out of the oyster pearl shell. You are the pearl. HP, Holland Park, Harry Potter, Harmonic Procession. P is 16 and H is 8. That gives you the perfect 888 frequency passage. Is the pearl third eye in L. So we had Etna explodes, and Etna is 37 north, 15 east. So 37 is everything I've been telling you. It's L. L is 7, perfect harmony, Pearl Harbor. It's the last passage of the spirit through the voice, through the V for victory. All over the newspapers today, the V for victory. We are coming up to the whole reason that World War II came about was to celebrate today Jupiter taking over the fertility axis, just as we have the famous pictures of June the 6th, the debarkment, the D-Day, and you have Saving Private Ryan Benjamin, and you see that gap. They show you the gap, just as they brought down the house in my village, which is that my village is the labyrinth. So I'm just going to go over these things with you. So Uranus was on the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. This is the 7, the pH. 7 is the middle of that harmonic procession, of that perfect harmony of your pH, alkaline, acid. And they've just brought out in the newspapers today that they have found the injection for cancer. And Pearl Harbor was when the moon and Pluto were conjunct in Cancer. So can, Jupiter, the can is can, the Cancer, yes we can. So Brian Brainstem, hidden hand of Fatima is Venus, Jack and Rose, Jupiter, Venus, the red sun, the how, wow, I, 5-0. Venus in the V for victory, Mars in Leo, home of sun, and Chiron has just entered Aries. So this is Pearl Harbor. The Japanese, so it was done by the Japanese. That's the Japanese flag. It's the red sun. And we've just got this red sun up everywhere in all the newspapers. I don't know where that, it's being shown in Buffalo in America. So there you've got the Anki. This is the beetles. This is the dung beetle. This is why it's so important. We're coming up to the strawberry fields forever. And I went to look at 19 Strawberry Fields of Forever, came out in 1967. Saturn was exactly on the whale's tail as it is now. It's the videos I did for Patreon, so I'm doing a lot. So there we've got the 888, the pH, that is Pearl Harbor, Uranus under the Pleiades, Saturn and Jupiter, exactly where the sun is today, and now Jupiter's on the wand of Merlin. So it's all about taking this gap. Taurus is ruled by Venus. When we wake up on Prince William's birthday, the 21st of the 6th, the sun is now in Taurus, not in Gemini. So it's your Amélie Poulain showing you this, the merging black, white, yellow, red at Montmartre, Amélie Poulain is at the planet of the apps. A is 1 and P is 16, which makes 7, and that is the house in my village. This is the labyrinth in my village, and they've just brought down the house number 17. It's app. Hawaii 5-0, the hand of Fatima, Venus coming out of the shell, the pearl, the harbor of the pearl, the breast of Venus. They're doing all their negotiations in Istanbul, the East bull. This is the gaps. That's why they brought down the 13th, this house, to make this closure of the labyrinth, is to find the 13th nerve in the crâne. So this middle ground, we're right there. So Merlin putting himself in between the 4 fixed stars, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo. This is the same as, and there she is, the celestial virgin, holding up just as Api, the bull god. This is the same thing as Osiris. It is the closing. It is your midbrain. This is Midnight Express. 50 days of invisibility around. So Venus is 50 days invisible. And there we've got Venus has been bang in the middle of that V, in that hidden, that energy of the dark side of Venus when she's in that V constellation. And Chiron's just entered Aries. So 5-0 was the score of the Paris football match on the last day of May, the 31st. So this is all about, we had a documentary that came out, a young couple that I've been watching for years, and I knew that all these YouTube people are connected because they travel in a car called La Baleine. La Baleine is the whale, the whale's tail. So they go and visit the Freemason lodges in Paris, and they get a whole big tour all about the Freemasons. So female to male, male to female, Free Martins. This is when Taurus becomes, in the cow, they make the twins, where they make the female twin take the hormones of the male twin. So she comes out like a female, but with that masculine hormones, which is what has happened with the injections. And the twins is how they merge. Gemini with Taurus in this gap is the twins, the she-wolf and her twins, of Venus, the she-wolf and her twins. So they're explaining the importance of Le Louvre in this documentary, because Le Louvre is the she-wolf. She is the celestial virgin holding up this last ability to hold up your medulla oblongata and to be aware of your unconscious acts. You know, when you're sick, when you sneeze, where you're no longer under the influence of the evil eye, you're able to be fully conscious. You take that 13th place. So he was shown on the stairs getting hit by his wife, which is exactly like in the life of Brian, as I showed you. There's the gap, that's your throat. And there, the hidden hand, he gets hit. Can you, this is, you know, are you still under the influence? Now it's the hidden hand is over to the woman, Pluto in Capricorn, the matriarchal. So that hit was on the 26th as Venus entered the V. And now as Venus leaves the V, we've got Chiron and Venus conjunct. And Venus will be entering into Aries. And then that's a whole, that is... So we're feeling that darkness. We're feeling that passage at the moment. Staircase, Venus. So we're not going to stay long. They were talking about the lodge number 21 being the most important. That's your 777, and always the dark side of the moon. 28 days to make that moon cycle. Princess Diana, Dirty Diana, died on the 31st of August. That is just your play on 3-1. Which is the 13. So the Ponce Brooks, the stem is the torch, the story of the 21 tarot cards, holding the Caduceus, holding the snakes. Saturn pulls a chariot of snakes, the DNA, not of horses, that's Jupiter. So we're literally the egg. My village is AIG, that is the egg. So we're at the Philosopher's Stone. We're at this passage. There's Api, the bull gods. Ukraine, Canada, the Canada in the Ukraine, the canary, and the red sun in the middle, finding the egg in the middle. There is that labyrinth passage, 12 signs and the 13th, and that fist of the people. It's power to the people, or it is your ability to connect the brain stem to the eye. That's what George Orwell, that's what it's all about. So the gnome, your brain stem, the breast of Venus, the triple goddesses, and the dark side, know thy name. Got 1, 2, 3 breasts of Venus, the triple goddesses, and the last phase of the moon and the dark side of Venus. Best, the fertility god, pineal gland, the Hawaii, 5-0. Pearl Harbour, 5-0. So that is Mount Etna, showing you like a phoenix as the lava comes down over the breast of Venus. It's the pictures of the sun, and of course it's happening just as the sun is right in that Y, right in that telescope, right in that passage. So Pearl Harbour, Japanese flag, Rumpelstiltskin, the brainstem meets Amygadala, the celestial virgin. You are the portal. You are a multi-dimensional being that can move from one dimension of consciousness to another effortlessly. You can even be in multiple dimensions at the same time. You don't need an external portal to get you to the next phase or new earth. You are the portal. Everything is within you. So Inanna, Bess, always the same person, the crocodiles at the bottom, the eagle, the 2 snakes. Look, it's making it like the horns of the saber. And this is where we are. That gnome should be holding the snake. So the little sparrow, piaf, that's why the horse movement, passage in French is piaf, which is the sparrow. So there is your pearl in its harbour. This is the passage, the Amygadala, and there's your red sun. This is Osiris, Taurus, Mercury, and the sun, and that is exactly what we have. Gold, Jupiter, the fake calf, and Mercury, the sun, and Jupiter, all Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, all. I mean, we're right at Osiris and nobody's paying attention. That's why I'm bringing out another video, because it's just ridiculous. Mars is coming up for this strawberry full moon here, and Moon has now entered. She will be on Spiker for the 6-6, for those horns of the bull, the Route de Memphis, the Route 66, Route de Memphis, and Mercury, the ruler, is coming up. So for the 6-8-9, for the 6-8, 6-7, got Mercury and Jupiter, and Venus is going to enter into Aries. Full moon as well for the 6-11. I mean, if that isn't, as Mars will be on Regulus, completely combust on the 16th, Saturn and Neptune conjunct, and then we're going to have the moon opposite for this full moon, obviously, and it's happening right in that Milky Way gap, right in that chat GPT, in your brain, in your ability to find this labyrinth closure. Pineal, crown, chakra, third eye, 45, 90 degrees. The World Tarot card, that 8, and this is the house that's been pulled down. In the village, the Whore of Babylon with the 7 heads. So the 7 heads, there's always, and the arc of the wheel, there's always 7 signs. From 1 to 7, there's Appy, free martyrism, the 2 cows, the twins, and there is the black cats. Osiris, which is happening right now. So UK approved 66, that's all coming up to the 6/6 dates. So red skies with the fires in Canada. I was shown this red sky as a child when I met the Shadow Man. So then we've got the Spice Girls. Why do they show you a 5-0? Hawaii 5-0, back to black, breast of Venus, bullseye, dark side of Venus, Spice Girl birthday now, because it's Venus, Hawaii 5-0. And then today we have Pearl Harbor on the front page of the newspapers. Hawaii, hidden man, the Fatima that is now exposed. Everything is astrology, didn't you know? As Sun, Mercury on Aldebaran, you know all that. So there we've got the triple goddesses. We've got back to black in the middle. 5-0, Hawaii 5-0. And that football match, the violence that we saw was an example of this energy of people who have not become the master of their Paris Saint-Germain is called OM. It's called OM. It's called OM. Paris OM. So that's OM. PSG is versus Marseille. 20 OM. So who's OM is Marseille, is it? Or OM football team? Olympique de Marseille. So that's it. That's why we've got, in my little village, we've got a massive flag of this the Olympic of Marseille. So Brian getting hit by the hidden hand at the throat as Venus is in this passage. The hidden hand, the throat, the staircase. So I've got the Elizabeth line with that staircase, west, east. So 2 killed, and that is, you know, that was on the 30th, but we've still got this going on. Okay, we're going to whiz through quickly. You know all this. I just want to bring to your attention because everything is connected. Everything in the news going on right now is connected. So I went to check out the 3rd of July. And that's what that is. Mount Etna is 37 north and exactly 15 east. So L is 37 times 15 is 555. Saturn is, I've got a reading with somebody who's born on that, on whose birthday makes it's born on the 15th of May. The 10th of May, or anyway, 15 pointed star with Earth fitting exactly in the middle. So 3773, and we're going to have Venus conjunct Uranus, and we're going to have Sun bang on top of Sirius, Mercury in Cancer at the age of 37, Lucy Jordan, Marianne Faithfull. So we're going to have Moon in Virgo. Mars will still be in Leo. This is coming up the day before. So there it is. Moon will be on Spica. And the moon rules Cancer. And Mercury rules Virgo. So we've got mutual reception going on there. Saturn and Neptune completely combust. Chiron is fully in Aries. Opposite the moon on Spica. Chiron is conjunct Eris, the liberator, and Sun and Jupiter in Gemini, and Mercury, the ruler, in Cancer, and Moon, the ruler, on Spica. So that's going to be a big date. You remember Mick Jagger's new wife is 37, Lucifer rising, Uranus and Venus under the Pleiades. This plane that went missing, 37. It is the tip of this triangle. That's why in France we have the new prime minister is 73 years old. And the one that was for 90 days, the L, to make the L, that's 37. we had Michel Barnier, 73 years old. So this is this gap between Canada, Russia, and Alaska. So 7-3, the moon will be on Spica, and Mercury will be on the beehive, the bee, to make 13, to make this 13 on the beehive. So I would think Pearl Harbor, we had Pluto right there. And this film, okay. So then we had Mount Etna. Here comes Lisbon, Treaty, Eliza, Macbeth, Line, Nile, Hormonal, Liza, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Can, Jupiter on the Wand, Venus in the V for Victory, and Sun, Mercury on the breast, Beast of Venus, soon to enter Canis Major. Yes, we can, Canary Wolves. Okay, so that was on the 6-2. So this is when we had the red sun. We also had the red sun showing, and we had Etna, Canada on fire, and the moon was on Regulus. So we had that red sun because the moon was conjunct to Mars. That was what was going on. And I mean, just look at that. Mercury, the sun combust on the bullseye. So Mercury was right conjunct sun. The child is born when they showed the red sun. I showed you the pictures at the beginning. Have we been through the pictures of that red sun? Cain and Abel, Con, La Palma volcano, Life in a Tin Can. David Bowie also played in the Labyrinth, the Canary, the Can, Toulouse-Lautrec, Hawaii 5-0. I've been talking about it for a week now, for a while, and then it's today, Pearl Harbor on the newspapers. Jodi Mitchell, and there she is, Venus rising, as we have Mercury and the sun conjunct. That was on the 6-2. So Elizabeth Taylor. Taylor is the surname of the man who created some main lodges, the lodges of the Orient in Paris, of the Freemasons. So Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. This is the roof of Mount Etna. You can't get more. And that is that Amy Winehouse at Villa Cotteret in 2019. Elizabeth Bourne, Elizabeth, the plasma event, which is the same as the Elizabeth line. There we go. Cancer, Rosemary's Baby, Hormonal Liza, Elizabeth Trust, the Staircase, the Throat, West East, the Madeleine. Now Madeleine has gone, your pearl has gone. And the 5-pointed star, and Osiris, and the red sun, which is exactly the eye that we have just seen. This is now your ability. Venus is in the middle. We've got Jupiter, Sun, and the Mercury in Taurus. This is the opening of this move onto the fixed cross, onto the Ukraine-Putin, the new cross. And this is, we're coming up to the big Popeye events. There she is, coming out of her Pearl Harbor. Lilith. Ishtar. Okay. So they have said that there is a vulture seen in Aignan, my village, a vulture. When egg is an eagle in French, A-I-G is egg, and an eagle in French is A-I-G-L-E, L. It's the egg and the L. But what do they give us? A vulture. So I don't think there was a vulture for a minute, but they keep telling us that there are vultures. And of course, it has been seen right in my village where the egg, the eagle, is. So this was my last post in Patreon. Patreon just did a video. All that was for Patreon, explaining. And then this again, is explaining, in my village, nobody is batting an eyelid. That is your brainstem. That is the little blackberry. These are the men, the gnome people. And this is the book, Abbé Pierre, written in 1924. And what happens to the house number 8? Me filming on Monday. Look at them holding up. There is just on the Rue Saint-Saturnin, the skeleton, the structure. And they've taken down the passage and they've dug up an underground passageway which has 3 paths of the fleur-de-lis. Look, they've got the pigeon. There's the Rue Saint-Saturnin, who's killed by Mars and Jupiter, Saint Martin. Look at this, holding up the house. And the man's house here, Carlos, his whole house is gone. This was just to make a boulangerie, alchemy, to make bread. There was a whole house. There was no reason to knock the whole house down. And the people who've done it is a company called Jean Moreau, which is JM, Jupiter Mercury. So there is the red berry, the church of Saint Saturnin, and this is the passage. And this is Vivaldi and Son, the butcher. And Vivaldi is the 4 seasons. And before you can get to the 5th season, they've dug up the underground passageway. There is the labyrinth. This is like Osiris, the keeper of the 4 corners. You always see him standing on his side. Well, they've knocked his head off. This is the stone that has been taken away. I mean, what is this all about? No one's batting an eyelid. We've been waiting for 5 years for the new boulangerie, and this is what we get, and no one says a word. And there's the whole passageway. It's all dug up now. You're not allowed. So I always explain this. The Black Eagle, Barbara, there is your passage. They always show you like the Bedouin, that passage where they had the big blackout. This is the Bedouins coming up along the Atlantic. So that house that fell down was number 17. That makes 8. 17 is Ap. 1 is A. P is 16. 16. 1 6 is 7. So this is the book. There's your oval. That's your egg passage. And there is my village, and Enion in the middle. It is 32290. 32290. We're at the sword in the stone. This is it. We've got the labyrinth just here. Incy Wincy spider climbing up the spout. The corridor is the passage. That was for the year that Happy was killed. 21st of April 2019, they brought down the house number 23 in the village just before that. So it's all about finding this keystone. And there is the egg. My village is AIG, and next to my village we have the other village, Lupiac. D'Artagnan kills the egg. So are we going to have a big pop-off? Is my village going to explode? You know, I keep asking the guy who runs the bar, and we just wink at, we just laugh. So I don't know what that means. So here's Lupiac, and he puts his sword in Enion to kill the egg. And this is Puy-d'Aguin, where Prince William came in 2016. That is where the bulls are killed. That was for the coronation, and we saw Trudeau playing bass, taking away the chair, taking away. So this is the sun. We had this for the new moon in Taurus. We had Uranus, Mercury, sun, moon, all conjunct. And this is exactly what happened for the football match. Football match 5-0. All that aggression was born. This rocket Falcon was set off at 3:22 p.m. Falcon 9. That's my postcode, 32290. So we've got to find that 5th element. That's where we're at as we come on to the fixed cross. Venus takes over. The Prince, that is the shell, that's Taurus, the Y, the Holy Grail, and the wings, Lucifer. Appy, the fleur de lis is Lucy Fleur. The pomme d'api, they take away your third eye and all you've got is Adam's apple, the god of fertility. So this guy, this young boy, he is 13 years old and he's got the whole of Ibiza. So that was the football match. These are the fires. These are what was going on. Yeah, this is interesting. I covered all that in my last Patreon. So again, I don't think we need to go over all that again. I was just showing that 5-0 is the hidden hand of Venus. And I'm coming back to show you again today because we have Pearl Harbor in the news. For that 31, we've got Mercury and the Sun conjunct on the as Venus entered into the V for victory. I mean, you could not get more Midnight Express than that. The last year we had Ponce Brooks, PB, the comet, and there's another comet going on now that's just come in. So Jupiter was right on the wand. It still is. Mercury's coming to join him now. But, you know, Etna has exploded. The fires in Canada. Etna means to burn. So that is the video. Free Martins, FM, F6, M13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 9. That makes 19, 1. I think that, and then that was just going into the slap, the hidden hand of Fatima, Venus, 5-0 days under the horizon. It's not complicated, they tell you. Mass Popeye next. May 26, 27 for the new black moon on the bullseye, the breast beast of Venus in Vietnam, the deer hunter, Russian roulette, RR, Romulus and Remus, and the she-wolf Venus entered the V for victory voice passage. Just like Brian Brain, Life of Brian Brain, AI, IA, Jesus Christ is in the gap passage, hit on the head by his mother moon, Mars left Cancer moon and entered Leo Sun King, Femme Solar, Venus rising, Gaza Giza, AI, IA, La Marianne, Macron will fall now, Jupiter falls on the horn of the cow, on the wand of Merlin, and Jupiter will enter Gemini next, so he's going to be in detriment. Sun, Mercury, Uranus, moon, new black magic moon, and the Gaza woman rises and rose. So he's going to fall, and we've got this Venus, Lucifer rising. So this is what this video is all about. It's just about this Hawaii 5-0. So remember that they were in Vietnam. They're in Vietnam. What's near? This is the place of Merlion, Bangkok. And we've got all Le Pen in the newspapers today. So we've got Hillary Clinton and somebody else that was all happened for that new moon. Mars was just leaving the past. Charles was in Canada. And I say it's about this 13th. And then we've got the house which gets pulled down to just prove this is the passage. It is the Beatles. We're at the Beatles. We're at Strawberry Fields forever. We're at the Elizabeth hormonal Liza line. That was just about whatever was going on in Liverpool. Liverpool again, L is 12, P is 16, 12 is 3, and that again is showing us 37. And then what happened at 37 North, Etna explodes. So there's always, you know, this is the mouth and the chest, Manchester and the Liverpool, from the mouth to the liver. This is, you know, Taurus, Venus rules Taurus, and Venus rules the kidneys. The bottom, so we're either going into the arsehole here, or you're able to get through the spirit, open your third eye. So LP is 37, and you know, it really is the Chiron line. And the Phoenix, and that's what we've just been shown on top of the mountain Etna. I just showed you the Phoenix and the fires in Canada. So that's how they do it. Right, so you see he's got his eagle, Jupiter. Jupiter has got the hawk. So it will be the hawk, not the eagle. Yeah, so it was released, Strawberry Fields Forever, on the 13th of February. So 13th of February is the Fertility Festival, Fields Forever, FF66. We're about to have this very big Memphis, Route de Memphis 66, and we've got the big motorway in France 69. So, you know, we really are coming up to these dates. Or the 6-9, have Mercury, Jupiter conjunct Venus, and leaves Pisces for Cetus, the eye of the beast, as Mars the ruler, and we've got Chiron that has now entered Aries. So that is the end of that. That's why Macron is going to fall. Macron's going to fall. He's born in 1977, and that's when they found Chiron. So the Chiron is the last passage of Chiron's last. If you look at the Chiron, it's just, the Chiron is every time we're in the passage of a mutable sign. So Pisces is the last mutable sign, and the Chiron is completed. So this is what I'm coming to today for, just to show you, watch out, we're fully in it. 6-3, 6-4, 6-6, and it's very, very exciting. There's nothing scary. This is Popeye. We are at Popeye. There's nothing scary to happen. It's all about being totally able to know that whatever we're living here in this dream, we're not here. We're not here. But if you can't remote control yourself, then you can't make that connection. You can't be as above, so below. You have to know nothing can upset you, nothing can worry you, because you're not even here. So 6-6, 6-4. And anyway, let's go and have a look. 1967, 13th of February to 13. So Saturn, exactly where Saturn is now. Venus was about to enter into, she was in Aquarius. I always considered we had Venus and Mercury in Aquarius. And the sun was just about, so it came out on the 13th, and I always say to you, see, the sun enters Aquarius on the 16th. There we go. That is your true 216 BP. But now they've got 21/6, Prince William's birthday, and the Fertility Festival is the 13th, 14th, 15th. Those last days as the sun is in the middle of the Twin Peaks, and Saturn was on the whale's tail in the home of Jupiter, and they brought out Strawberry Fields Forever. 1967, Jupiter was on Sirius. It was not quite in Cancer yet, but Jupiter was in Gemini as Jupiter is about to enter Gemini now, and Jupiter was making a square to Saturn as they are making a square to each other now. Mars was on Spica. And voila. So that's Pearl Harbor. Let's just finish now with, let's look at last call. Let's go just to the full moon coming up. Let's put the transits of right now. So the sun is going to, we just had the first quarter moon yesterday. So we had that first quarter moon yesterday. We had the moon in Leo, and now the moon is moving into Virgo. So we've got really that south node bringing up this whore of Babylon, Venus in detriment in Virgo, and Venus is about to go into full into Aries, and that happens for this full moon. So here we've got Venus officially in Aries. It says that she's here now, but we know she's not. But the key is, and you know, look, we're gonna have Uranus making a square to Mars, the ruler of Aries, where Venus is in detriment, and the Sun, Jupiter and Mercury. Let's come back to now. 11, Venus enters Aries, Sun, Mercury in Gemini, Jupiter still in Taurus. So Mercury, Jupiter, Sun, and we had for 9/11 Moon, Saturn and Jupiter. Here we had Moon, Saturn where the Sun is, and Jupiter where Jupiter is now. Okay, darling, so I just wanted to send you some encouragement, and just so you really realize this is the gap. This is what we were always talking about with Lars. This is the green line. This is the Milky Way, which represents your closure of your labyrinth, of your crâne. This is everything going on. This is about finding your pearl, about finding your pH, finding your balance between alkaline and acid. This is the ultimate passage for those who can discern. For those who can discern, you know, we can use Venus. Venus, it's up to you. Venus is about worth. It's about fairness, or she is a she is just the mirror on the world. She is Lucifer. She is not total narcissism, or she is your ability to find your worth, to find your true value, and to find a proper balance in life. So Venus, this is your, you know, we're leaving Jupiter and Mercury. If you can mix that energy of Jupiter and Venus, we've had this beautiful mutual reception, which is coming to an end. And we're at the epitome of this, you know, of this merging Venus, and you know that they're doing that. They're changing the anima, and the animus. They're mixing Venus with the Sun and Mars with the Moon. So we're going to have Moon in the home of Mars for this 11. We've got, for this full moon, we've got the Moon right in Scorpio for the fertility, and the Sun. This is the fertility fields, fertility festival, strawberry fields forever. That is Taurus, the calf, the idolated calf that takes from the calves, Aquarius. Okay, darlings, bye for now.